What's the most important principle in the attack? It's simply to have more pieces attacking than your opponent. In this very clear example, very simple, white is completely winning because white has a lot of material advantage. But let's say that we want to take this pawn before checkmating black's king. How do we know if we can win this pawn? Well, we just simply count the pieces that can attack this pawn. So we have this bishop that can attack it. This knight will maneuver a little bit, but will attack it as well. And also this rook. So we have three pieces, at least three pieces, not to mention the king, that can attack this pawn. And how many pieces does black have? Black has only two pieces that can defend this pawn. So without doing any calculation, that's why this principle is very helpful. We can know in advance if this attack will be successful or not. Let's check another clear example. In this position it is white to play. Let's say that we want to attack black's king, and we might see this h7 pawn as a target. This bishop is already looking at this pawn. So we could play here the move queen to e4, and we add another piece, so we now have two pieces attacking this pawn, whereas black has only one piece. In fact, here black doesn't have enough time to go with the king to f8, so this is even going to be checkmate. And there's also an interesting note here, is that black has a bishop of different color than white. So we have here what we call opposite colored bishops, and these normally favor the attacker a lot, because white is attacking on the white squares, and white has one more piece in the attack. So this bishop on f6 cannot defend the h7 square. With simple concepts like that, we can understand very complex positions. In this position we have Bobby Fischer, Robert James Fischer, who was also called Bobby Fischer. He's a former world champion, and here he played a very brilliant combination. But the basic idea is that white is attacking on the light squares with opposite colored bishops. Here he played the move bishop takes d4, and after black took on d4, here he played a very deep move, which is the move rook to f6. He wants to attack on h7, but if he plays the move e5, then black would have the very interesting f5, forcing the exchange of queens. For instance, after we take and knight takes, then black is attacking this knight, and black seems to be doing okay. For instance, if we go to e2, then black might take this pawn, and black will get this pawn back, but the position is not clear at all. That's why Fischer played the move rook to f6, and now he plans to play the move e5. For instance, after black takes on c3, then we play e5, and checkmate is unavoidable. Let's say that black plays the move h6, then we can bring more pieces in the attack. So we see that now we have three pieces in the attack, and black has only one defender. Here black instead played the move king to g8, but after the move e5, then the attack continued. Black played h6, but after the quiet knight to e2, then the attack will continue, so black resigned. For instance, now we attack this knight, and after this knight moves, then one of the many winning moves is to play queen to f5, and then we give checkmate on the light squares. If I go back to this position that we studied when we spoke about the most important idea in the middle game, which is to attack on your opponent's territory, we also saw that in the previous example, Fischer was attacking on f6, on e5, pretty much on the opponent's territory. And here we can understand the move played by Lasker, which is knight to h5, even better because white wants to attack, and white has more pieces looking at the king side, so the attack actually can come from more than one square, and black has one piece defending. And this resource used by Lasker is very interesting because white will exchange a pair of pieces, but white will exchange a defender. So after taking on h5, white will have more attackers and black will have less defenders. And also here white played extremely precisely, so this is something that is needed, good calculation. Here if white took on h5, then black would have tried to neutralize this attack with f5 and tried to defend. So the position is much less clear than what Lasker played. Lasker here played a forcing move, which is another idea when you attack. Forcing moves, if they work, they are better because our opponent has less choices. And he took on h7, and after taking, again, this is a forcing move, we give a check. And again, this is another forcing move. And in the end, after the move queen to g4, king h7, we see the end is rook f3, and again we have two pieces attacking, so the attack is successful. Black can only stop the attack with the move e5 as played in the game, but white will get a lot of material advantage. And in this last position that we analyzed, when we spoke about the most important idea in the middle game, we see that white is definitely more active, and one idea is to attack f7, because we have two pieces attacking, but black has two pieces defending. We would love to bring another piece, but the rook, we cannot bring it because we would blunder this rook, and also knight to g5 is just bad because we have this checkmate. But in this case, white played this very fantastic maneuver with the king, the move king to g3, and basically white wants to bring the king to h6 and have two pieces, the king and the queen, attacking the king. I spoke that normally the ending is where the king gets active, and this is definitely an exception to the rule, but the principle, the attacking principle, is to have more pieces attacking your opponent, and black doesn't have any clear way to defend. The game continued rook c to e8, king to f4, and after bishop to c8, attacking the rook. Here, short played the amazing king to g5. Black is not in time to take the rook because here king to h6 would be checkmate. And also king to h7 is bad because now we can take on f7. We would also get a winning attack.